Welcome to Lessertainment, the channel with the most deceptive name in all of YouTube. First off, I'm not knocking any of these fighters for trying to get that money. I mean, get it where you can and when you can. But these are just fights that weren't really competitive, thus not giving the fans the entertainment that they paid for. Unless you like them, in which case I'm an idiot, and I'm happy you enjoyed your time. I just wanted to point out some fights that probably never should have happened, but they did because people were going to get rich. If you happen to enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe down below, and make sure to turn on those notifications. This is one of the earliest crosses between boxing and MMA when James Toney took on Randy Couture. Couture was the former lightweight heavyweight and heavyweight champion, but he was 47 years old, so he was past his prime. And James Toney was 42, also way past his prime. Other than the names of these two former champions being able to sell pay-per-views, there was a total of 570 buys for UFC 118. The trash talking that came from James Toney made this an easy promotion for Dana White, since he was saying that he would knock out any MMA guy before they even had the chance to take him down. And even if they took him down, he would still beat them from the ground.
No way he's going to the ground while I knock his ass out.
Looking to choke out Coleman!
And I ain't worried about getting hit, because if he come and try to wrestle me, all that crazy stuff he like to do, it's going to be a short night for him.
Well, that's not what happened.
Not 3 seconds and down. I mean, this is he's got to defend by putting it against his ear. He's going out.
Couture simply mauled Toney, destroying him in the first round. Toney, for the first time in his career, did not land a single punch. This was an easy sign-off for the UFC, and they paid Toney $500,000 for his money-grabbing, pay-per-view selling, trash talking. The most recent fight where you could watch a battle between two aging legends who were considered the best in their primes. That was the fight between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. that you could watch if you paid the $50 pay-per-view price. The fight was interesting to watch just because it's two massive legends, but overall the fight had very little action, with both guys never really throwing any combinations.
With a cavalcade of first round knock.
Get up in there, Roy. Shit, in and out.
12 ounce gloves. Knocked the 10, and Jones shook it off.
Even though we all knew that this is probably going to be very boring, we were really hoping for Tyson to land one crazy punch and put Jones out. But Jones was able to take the few hits that landed fairly well. The fight sold a ton of views and ranked in the top 10 all-time pay-per-view buys, with over 1.6 million buys, recording $80 million. These guys are going to make a ton of money from this fight, which is very good for them, I guess. Tito, Ortiz, and Chuck Liddell had two great fights during their careers in 2004 and 2006, with Liddell winning both by knockout. The second one of these fights sold a total of 1.1 million pay-per-view buys. They were supposed to fight a third time before this latest one, when they were still in their primes, but Ortiz got injured and the fight never happened. Now, in 2018, Golden Boy jumps in and negotiates for them to fight a third time, which UFC boss Dana White did not like it one bit, since he is friends with Liddell and said that he should have stayed retired because he is almost 50 years old and has no business fighting anymore.
They just commit. Oh, there Ortiz takes the right hand. Liddell's down, and Liddell is...
And based on the fight, he was completely right, because Liddell got knocked out in the first round in dramatic fashion. The bad thing about this fight was that they expected big sales, with Ortiz claiming 200,000 pay-per-view buys had been sold before the fight, but when the numbers actually came in, it was closer to 40,000 buys, even after the price was dropped by $10 to $40. This means that they didn't really make the money that they thought they were going to get. I heard people claim that this fight happened because Liddell hadn't managed his money well and was broke, while Ortiz had plenty of money, but he wanted to help out Liddell, so he agreed to make the fight happen. CM Punk was a huge star for the WWE, but after they ran into some issues, he decided that he wanted to try his luck at MMA. The UFC and Dana White saw moneybags and they decided to sign him in 2014. He was assigned to fight Mickey Gall at UFC 203, where he got crushed. All the reports were that CM Punk had been training a ton and really hard, really putting in the hard work. but it just didn't translate to the actual octagon. The UFC wasn't too bummed out at this less than stellar performance, since they sold a total of 450,000 pay-per-view buys, which is very respectable. This netted CM Punk a check for $500,000 for less than 3 minutes of work, aside from the training of course. He was allowed one more fight where he lost again, and now that his name no longer had the potential to make money, the UFC released him. Floyd Money Mayweather, as his name suggests, is all about making that bank. So if a fight arises where he can make a quick $9 million in a non-professional fight, he's going to take that easy money. That's exactly what happened when he fought against Tenshin Nasukawa in 2018 in Japan and beat him in only 139 seconds.
Remember, this is a man who can dodge by Nasukawa now. Mayweather just comes in and throws his own body shot. A beautiful right hand! Nasukawa's doing everything he possibly can, and Mayweather drops him again! The speed!
Nasukawa was only 20 years old, and although he had an undefeated record in kickboxing and MMA, he didn't have the experience necessary to beat Mayweather in boxing. At first, this event was being sold as Mayweather's return to boxing. That was at least according to the Japanese promoter, but Mayweather soon came out saying that he hadn't agreed to a fight, but later stated that he only agreed to an exhibition match that was just going to happen to entertain some rich people. He said that he's only going to move around with this guy for 9 minutes and it's going to be the highest paid exhibition ever. So this event was staged, right? Come on. Nasukawa fought at 121 pounds and Mayweather fought at 147 pounds. Also, the punches that knocked down Nasukawa 3 times were a complete joke. And then Nasukawa started crying afterward? What the hell, man? What kind of event is this? Seems like a giant soap opera to me. This fight was an actual professional fight between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Conor McGregor, and although many hoped that McGregor would have a chance in this fight landing his blessed left hand, we all knew in our hearts that Mayweather was going to crush McGregor, with most experts really getting it right when they said that McGregor would get gassed, which is exactly what happened. Mayweather landed 53% of his punches with a total of 170 landed, and McGregor landed 111 with a 26% connect percentage. We all know that at Mayweather's level, he is not going to take a fight where he knew he wasn't going to win, especially when he was so close to passing Rocky Marciano's record. He took the fight because of the money that could be made since McGregor was such a popular fighter, and because he knew the fight was in the bag. And boy did they rake in the cash. There were 4.3 million pay-per-view buys, the second most all time, and Mayweather made $280 million, and McGregor got a measly 100. Holy fuck. Now the fight that was confirmed for next year and is billed as a special exhibition, whatever the hell that means. It's not even a professional fight. It's the meetup between 6'2", 200-pound YouTuber Logan Paul and 5'8", 150-pound Floyd Mayweather Jr. It's going to be a pay-per-view event starting at $24.99 for the first 100 million pay-per-view sold. So they are already kind of not expecting much because the price is kind of low, but it does go up from there. This is 100% a money grab event for both parties, as we have all seen from the recent events from both Logan Paul and Mayweather. It's completely genius though, because Logan has a ton of followers who are going to tune in and will pay for the event, and Mayweather is taking no risks at all. I can almost guarantee that there's a clause in the contract that states that Mayweather can't lose, but that's just a theory of mine. But even if there wasn't a clause like this, Logan is going to get destroyed. He might land some punches whenever Floyd lets him land some punches. But if Mayweather allows the fight to last a couple of rounds, Logan will be exhausted by the end of the second, like he has been in all his fights. Then the ending will be similar to the McGregor fight. But come on, Mayweather's gonna knock him out pretty fast. There you have it guys, fights that never would have made the money they made before the time of social media. These fights were only this big because of the huge following these fighters were able to work hard to achieve, and then they were able to leverage these audiences to absolutely line their pockets with millions of dollars. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.